So how are we going to write the thesis and main points into the APA template? First of all, this assignment is going to allow you to create a working document or a working draft that you can continue to build on week by week. So this is the APA template, and you can create a temporary or a tentative title for your research paper, and you can place your name in the title page. This is the course number, okay, and your instructor's name, and then the date could be tentative all the time. Now we will work on the heading or on the header sometime the following weeks during the revisions, but for now let's try to transfer the thesis and main points into the template. Then this is again the temporary or tentative title for the paper. Let's take a look at this example that we have. So bipolar, we're talking about bipolar disorder. Is very complex. Okay, I will not have to read all of them, but this is the thesis statement that we're going to write into this section of the template. Your thesis statement must be at the end of your introduction, and then the rest of this instruction should be followed by you when writing your introduction. And then all you have to do is delete or replace the text. For purposes of identifying the thesis statement, let us try to highlight the thesis statement. So now we have the thesis statement at the end of the introduction section. Now we will have to write a short title for the first main point. Let's take a look at the main point. Oh, this happens to be short, so we can just follow the same title. However, if your main point is longer and if your main point is a question mark, you can change or create a shorter title that could represent your main point. So let's try transferring the main points in their respective sections. So now we have the first main point here. Let's try to write the sub-detail that we have for the bipolar disorder. So we have the history on bipolar disorder and symptoms. So let's try writing that into the sub-details of main point. Okay, so it should be here. And then if there's any sub-point, the writer should be able to write it down here. Now we have two sub-detail, so we'll write the two sub-details here and here. Okay, so we now have the first main point or sub-point, and then we will have the second sub-point or sub-detail right here. Remember, we don't put a period in your sub-point or sub-detail. Okay, now we will have to write the second main point here, and if there's any sub-detail, we will do the same, and then we will write the third main point down here. Okay, so we have the bipolar effects on the minds of people, and then treatments for bipolar disorders, and they have sub-details. So we will place this in our APA template. Okay, so we make a shorter title. We say for the second main point, bipolar effects on the mind, and then we have the third main point as treatments for bipolar disorder, and then we will place the sub-details down here. See, we have one for the second main point and we have two for the third main point. Okay, for the second sub-detail we have therapy. Okay, so we will replace that. Alright, so now we have written the main points and the thesis statement into the template. Now all you have to do once you have done this is to practice or to write some ideas under each main points, and then for week 2 you also have to practice citing sources under each main point or under each section of your research paper. It's possible that you can quote, you can make a quotation in your or cite sources in your introduction as well as in the conclusion section also. So if you have something to cite within every section of your research paper, you can practice that and submit that as your assignment. So I hope this helps.